Remember when our world was unplugged and the only cords we worried about were the ones on our Walkmans? Back when our notifications were the shout of a friend outside yelling for us to come out and play? Our social network was the kids on the block, and the biggest dilemma was deciding between riding bikes till sunset or catching that new episode on TV. Welcome to Memory Lane, where we're rewinding to the days before smartphones and Wi-Fi ruled our lives. So grab your favorite soda, settle in, and let's dive into how video games defined our coming of age. Remember the thrill of stepping into an arcade after school? The place was alive. The flashing lights, the electronic beeps, and that smell of popcorn mixed with coins. It was our hangout, our battlefield, and our escape. We weren't just playing games, we were part of a community. High scores weren't just numbers, they were badges of honor. And who could forget the friendly rivalries that sometimes weren't so friendly? That's what made it exciting. Then came the game changer, the day we could bring the arcade home. The NES wasn't just a console, it was a revolution. Suddenly, we didn't have to scrounge for quarters or wait our turn at the arcade. Mario and Luigi became household names, and Just One More Level became the anthem of many late nights. Remember blowing into the cartridges when the game wouldn't load? We all thought we were tech wizards, fixing things with a puff of air. We didn't just play these games, we lived them. Mario wasn't just a plumber, he was the hero we guided through endless adventures. Link's quests in Hyrule felt like our own journeys into the unknown. And when Sonic dashed onto the scene with his too cool for school attitude, we were all in. These characters were more than pixels on a screen. They were our companions during those formative years. Music was everything back then, and video games had their own jams. Those catchy 8-bit tunes are still etched in our memories. I bet you can hear the Super Mario theme in your head right now, or that suspenseful Zelda melody. We didn't just hear the music, we felt it. It was part of the experience, just like the mixtapes we made from songs recorded off the radio. The Great Console Wars. Were you Team Nintendo or Team Sega? Playground debates got heated over which was better. Nintendo had the classics, but Sega had that edgy vibe. Remember Sega's tagline, "Genesis does what Nintendo don't"? Bold move. It wasn't just about the games, it was about who we were. Our choice of console said something about us. We'd defend it like our reputation was on the line. Before online multiplayer, there was couch co-op and versus mode. Nothing beat having your friends over for an all-night gaming marathon. Snacks on the table, controllers in hand, and the glow of the TV lighting up the room. We learned about teamwork and competition right there on the living room floor. And let's be honest, some of those friendships were tested when someone pulled a cheap move in-game. As we grew, so did technology. We witnessed the leap from 8-bit graphics to immersive 3D worlds. Games became more complex, stories more engaging. We were there for the birth of the home computer revolution. Remember the patience it took to connect to the internet? The symphony of beeps and hisses, hoping no one picked up the phone and disconnected you. Looking back, those games were more than just a way to pass the time. They taught us perseverance. After all, there was no saving in many of those early games. You had to start over and over until you got it right. They sparked our imagination and maybe even inspired some of us to pursue careers in tech, art, or storytelling. The friendships we made, the challenges we overcame, they're all part of who we are today. Thanks for joining me on this trip down memory lane. Whether you were a high-score legend at the arcade or just loved a good game of Tetris on your Game Boy, we all shared in the magic of that era. So, maybe dust off that old console, plug it in, and relive some of those classic moments. And if you have no idea where it is, perhaps it's time to introduce the next generation to the games that started it all. Stay tuned for our next episode, where we'll dive into the fashion that shaped our lives, from parachute pants to colorful blazers. Until then, keep it real and game on.